Hey there, Morbid Maniacs. It's time for another spooky video. And for tonight's spooky video, I'm going to be talking about skinwalkers. In Navajo, a Native American culture, a skinwalker is a bad witch who has the ability to possess and disguise themselves as animals and even humans. The witch is referred to as the Yi Nod Lushi, which translates to, with it, he goes on all fours. It is considered to be one of the most dangerous Navajo witches. For the Navajo people, witchcraft is just another part of their spirituality and just another way of life for them. Always been a part of their culture and traditions and their history. The Navajo believe that there are places where both good and evil powers exist, and that these powers can be used for either. It is said that medicine men, also known as good witches, use their powers to heal others and to help others. While those who practice bad magic, however, have evil intentions of causing harm or spreading misfortune to others. The form of this magic is known as the witchery way, which uses human corpses in various ways. They will use the bones and skin of others to curse, harm, and even kill other people. The knowledge of these powers has been passed down for generations. There are different cultures of which skinwalkers exist, and they all believe differently. However, in each of the legends of the skinwalker, in each culture, it always includes an evil, malevolent person who wishes to cause harm on others. Sometimes these people started out using their powers for good, as healers and spirit guides, but then later decided to use their powers for evil. In order to become a skinwalker, he or she must be first initiated by a society, which includes them to kill a family member, most often a sibling. After this task is completed, the individual will then have supernatural powers, including the ability to transform and shapeshift into different animals. Animals that are most commonly used in manipulation by a skinwalker include coyotes, deer, wolves, foxes, cougars, dogs, bears. But they can take the form of any animal they choose. They then will wear the skins of the animal of which they are transforming themselves into, hence why they are known as skinwalkers. Sometimes skinwalkers would wear the skulls or antlers of the animal of which they are trying to shapeshift into, as it was said to bring them more power. They chose what animal they wanted to transform into depending on what was needed for the particular task, such as strength, endurance, speed, claws, teeth, etc. They may transform again if they are trying to escape from pursuers. Because of this reason, it is considered taboo by the Navajo community to wear the skins of any predatory animals. But sheepskin, leather, and buckskin are acceptable. It's even said that skinwalkers can possess certain people and take on their form, or even disguise themselves as someone you know. Or they will steal your skin in some cultures. They do this by locking eyes with a specific person. And once they do this, they will then be able to control you and make the person say and do things that they usually wouldn't. A skinwalker can be male or female, but majority of the time they are male. During the day, a skinwalker will walk freely among us, but at night it is said that they will secretly transform. It is said that one way you can tell if a skinwalker is a real animal or not is through its eyes. Their eyes are very different from a real animal's. They're very human-like, and when light shines upon them, they will turn a very bright red. And when they are in human form, their eyes will look more like an animal's. Also, in the skinwalker tradition, it is said that if a skinwalker is shot but only wounded, that when it comes back into its human form, that the wound will still be there. The evil skinwalkers tend to gather in dark caves and secluded places for several reasons, include to initiate new members, to plot activities, to cause harm on others from a far distance with dark magic, and to perform ceremonial rites. These ceremonies are similar to other tribal affairs such as dancing, feasts, sand painting, but they were corrupted with bad intentions, dark magic. The evil ones are said to engage in necrophiliac with female corpses, commit cannibalism, incest, and grave robberies. It's said that they will stay around graveyards because they tend to use the corpses, like there's like this powder on the corpse that they will use in different magic rituals. During their gatherings, skinwalkers will transform into their animal form, or they will go about naked, wearing only beads or ceremonial paint. The leader of a skinwalker pact is usually an old man whom is a very powerful and long-lived skinwalker. Skinwalkers are also said to have the ability to read others' minds. They can also control your thoughts and behaviors, cause disease and illness, destroy property, and even death. Those who have encountered skinwalkers say that there are various different ways you can tell if a skinwalker is around. They will make sounds around your home, such as knocking on windows, banging on walls, and even scraping on your roof. On some occasions, they have been found peering into victims' windows. Or, if you hear what you believe to be an animal at night, but something just doesn't seem quite right about it, there's a possibility that it could be a skinwalker. Most often, they tend to appear in front of cars with the intention of causing a serious accident. Not only do they hold all of those powers, but they also have the ability to control certain animals of the night, such as owls, wolves, and they can get them to do their work. Some are able to call upon the spirits of the dead and reanimate corpses to help attack their enemies. For this reason, Indians rarely traveled alone. They have the ability to run faster than a car and jump off of really high cliffs. They are extremely fast, agile, and impossible to catch, and will leave tracks bigger than those of any animal. When encountered, they are described as being not quite human, but not quite animal. They are usually naked, but some have reported them wearing tattered clothing. The skinwalker kills out of greed, anger, hate, spite, or revenge. They live on the downfall of their victims and must continue to kill, otherwise they themselves will perish. When the Navajos that use their magic for good find out about skinwalkers, it is not tolerated. And when a skinwalker is found, they are supposed to be killed. However, skinwalkers are said to be very hard to kill, and most attempts have been However, skinwalkers are said to be very hard to kill, and most attempts have been unsuccessful. Trying to kill one can also lead to the skinwalker seeking revenge. Successful killing of a skinwalker usually involves a very powerful shaman who knows different spells and rituals to turn the skinwalker's evil intentions back upon themselves. Another way is to shoot the creatures with bullets that have been covered in white ash. However, this shot must hit the skinwalker in the neck or head. It's also said that you can kill a skinwalker by calling out its real human name. Traditionally, the Navajo will not usually talk about the legend of the skinwalker for fear that they will use their dark magic against them. I even heard that anyone who talks of the skinwalker will soon find themselves with the power of the skinwalker coming against them. So while I was actually doing research for this video, I was getting freaked out because here I am learning all this stuff about a skinwalker, and I'm reading that if you talk about a skinwalker to anyone, I don't think it's if you hear about a skinwalker, so you guys are good, but like if you talk about a skinwalker to other people, that they will come for you. So I'm kind of scared, but it's interesting. Today, sightings of the skinwalker do not result in death or injury, but are more trickster-like. Numerous people have told stories of sightings of skinwalkers running alongside their car, matching its speed. But after a short amount of time, they would run off into the wilderness. Along the way, some of these animals would sometimes turn into a man and bang on their hoods. Another story tells of a man who was making repairs on his home one day when he heard this loud laughter coming from one of the nearby sheep pens. So thinking he was alone, he went over to investigate to find none of the sheep being there except for one lone sheep which was curled up into a corner of the pen. But he claimed that in the center of this pen, away from all of the sheep, stood upright a lone ram which was laughing in a human form. Oh, just reading that gives me freaking goosebumps. Like, can you guys imagine that? That is so freaky. After the man locked eyes with the ram, he noticed that its eyes were not like that of an animal, but were very human-like. The animal then casually walked away on all four legs. Some have said that they have seen them running through the night, turning into fiery balls, leaving streaks of light behind them. Others have seen angry-looking humanoid figures. Others have seen angry-looking humanoid figures Others have seen angry-looking humanoid figures looking down on them from mountains and cliffs. In the 1980s, the most famous experience with a skinwalker happened when a family was driving through the Navajo reservation. When they slowed down at a sharp curve, something jumped out from the ditch. It was described as being black, hairy, and wearing a shirt and pants. A few days after this event took place, the family, being at their home, was awakened one night to hearing loud chanting and drumming coming from outside their home. When they went outside to investigate, there were 3 dark forms of men who were standing behind the fence. However, these shadowy figures could not get themselves over the fence and soon left. Some who see skinwalkers today describe them as being hollowed out dog-like animals. And there is another place which I'm sure most of you have heard of, known as the Skinwalker Ranch, of which I'm going to make a separate video on. So there you guys go. That was all I could find on Legend of Skinwalkers. Have you ever experienced a skinwalker for yourself? Do you know anything that I did not mention in this video? Feel free to let me know. I did have a creepy experience with what was believed to be a skinwalker. I didn't really have it. It was more of my boyfriend, but I kind of experienced it with him because I was there with him when it happened. Maybe I will make a separate video on that as well, where we sit down and talk about our experience. You know, if you guys would like to see that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big old thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already and become a morbid maniac. And I will see you guys in the next video.